Breaking news tonight. Tensions are boiling over in the South China Sea, with the Luzon Strait now the epicenter of a dangerous global power struggle. Chinese warships are conducting live fire drills near the Bashi Channel, a key passage. In response, American and Philippine naval vessels have entered the area, directly challenging China's expansion. The world is watching, every move scrutinized, the risk of miscalculation higher than ever. The Luzon Strait, separating Taiwan from the Philippines, is a vital artery for global trade and a strategic military chokepoint. Once known for fishing and typhoons, its waters are now crowded with warships and the hum of destroyer engines. Headlines declare, China declares no-sail zone. U.S. destroyer challenges Chinese claims, Philippines vows to defend its territory. The sea is transforming from a shared resource into a militarized front line. Invisible lines of maritime claims are now enforced by missile-armed ships. For locals, the sea has become a place of fear and uncertainty. Fighter jets scramble overhead, submarines lurk below in a silent game of cat and mouse. This is the new reality. A high-stakes confrontation where national pride, economic interests, and military power collide. The question is not if a crisis will happen, but when. The international community watches, knowing a conflict here could spiral into something much larger. The Luzon Strait is no longer a quiet corner of the world, it's a powder keg. For the people who call this region home, the transformation is profound. The air is thick with tension, and the future is uncertain. The stakes have never been higher. The world holds its breath. Picture a chessboard where the pieces are billion-dollar warships and the board is the open ocean. The Luzon Strait is now a stage for this high-stakes game. The Chinese Navy, with advanced destroyers and a flotilla of frigates, practices sealing off the Bashi Channel. A clear message to Manila, Washington, and Taipei. Opposite them, U.S. and Philippine naval forces assert their presence, determined not to be pushed out of their own waters. Communication is professional but tense. Every captain knows a single mistake could trigger an international incident. Chinese Coast Guard vessels, acting as a second navy, weave between warships and local fishing boats, using aggressive tactics to intimidate Filipino vessels. This creates a gray zone, conflict just short of open warfare, testing the resolve of the Philippines and its allies. Every radar contact and radio signal is analyzed. Crews are on high alert around the clock. The proximity of these forces means a simple error could lead to disaster. In these crowded waters, the line between patrol and war is razor thin. The world watches as these navies play a game where the stakes are regional peace and global stability. The tension is palpable, the risks immense. Each maneuver is a calculated move in a dangerous chess match. The outcome could reshape the balance of power in Asia. The Luzon Strait is now the front line of a new kind of conflict. The next move could change everything. For generations, the Luzon Strait was a provider. Its bounty sustained the Batanes and Babuyan Islands. The sea was a place of fishing nets, not frigates. Now, it's a militarized zone, its waters crowded with warships and disguised maritime militia boats. Filipino fishermen are pushed out by steel-hulled vessels, their ancestral grounds now zones of control. The horizon is dotted with military hardware. The roar of jets replaces the cry of seabirds. Radios crackle with warnings in foreign languages, reminding locals they're no longer masters of their own sea. The transformation is swift and shocking. A front line of geopolitical conflict has replaced a source of livelihood. The Luzon Strait is now valued for its strategic position, not its ecological richness. It's a gateway for China's Navy, a defensive barrier for the Philippines, and a vital channel for U.S. forces. The focus has shifted from fish stocks to missile ranges. For locals, this is a tragedy. Their waters stolen, their way of life upended. The sea's identity has changed forever. The transformation is not just visible, but deeply felt. The Luzon Strait is now a theater of military posturing. The cost is borne by those who once called it home. The Luzon Strait crisis is the latest chapter in a long history of South China Sea disputes. China's sweeping claims clash with the Philippines' rights, despite a 2016 Hague ruling in Manila's favor. In response, the U.S. and Philippines have revived their alliance, reaffirming their mutual defense treaty. The U.S. now has access to new military sites in the northern Philippines, close to the Luzon Strait and Taiwan. This forward presence allows rapid response in a crisis. Joint military exercises have grown larger and more complex, simulating real conflict scenarios. These drills are more than training, they're a show of resolve and deterrence. The message to Beijing is clear: The US and Philippines stand ready to defend sovereignty and uphold international law. The alliance is now more visible and vital than ever. The Luzon Strait is becoming one of the world's most heavily armed waterways. China's navy, now the largest by ship count, deploys advanced warships bristling with missiles. The Philippines, once militarily weak, is rapidly modernizing with new frigates and the BrahMos supersonic missile system. U.S. strategy is evolving, with agile marine littoral regiments ready to operate from remote islands, turning them into unsinkable missile batteries. This arms race creates a volatile environment. Ships are vulnerable from hundreds of miles away and reaction times are measured in seconds. The incentive to strike first in a crisis grows as each side deploys more advanced weapons. It's a classic security dilemma. One side's defense is another's threat, fueling a cycle of escalation. The stakes are rising with every new deployment. The Luzon Strait is now a flashpoint in a modern arms race. The risk of conflict has never been greater. The Luzon Strait is a critical maritime chokepoint. 1/3 of global shipping passes through the South China Sea each year. It's the main gateway between the South China Sea and the Pacific, carrying everything from oil to electronics. Any disruption here would have catastrophic consequences for the world economy: shipping delays, shortages, and soaring prices. The interconnected global supply chain means a crisis in the strait would be felt everywhere. Strategically, the strait is China's path to the Pacific and a key defensive barrier for the US and its allies. Control of the Luzon Strait could shift the regional balance of power. For China, it's essential for projecting naval power and securing its eastern flank. For the US, keeping the strait open is vital for freedom of navigation and Indo-Pacific strategy. If China dominates the strait, US access to the South China Sea could be cut off. This standoff is about more than territory. It's about who shapes the rules of the 21st century. The Luzon Strait's fate will impact the entire world. The stakes are global. China's cabbage strategy surrounds contested areas with layers of warships, Coast Guard, and maritime militia, squeezing out rivals without firing a shot. This gray zone warfare keeps conflict below the threshold of open war, using ambiguity to paralyze opponents. Coast Guard and militia actions are framed as law enforcement, not military aggression, complicating responses. China also wages lawfare, passing domestic laws and creating new administrative districts to legitimize its claims. The goal: make China's control seem normal and irreversible. This patient, multi-pronged approach is hard to counter. Military response risks escalation, but inaction means ceding control. The US and Philippines are fighting back with transparency, exposing China's actions to the world. The battle of narratives is now as important as the battle at sea. Building an international coalition is key to pushing back against Beijing's claims. The struggle is to win without war. But the contest is far from over. Behind the headlines, fishing communities in the northern Philippines face a daily struggle for survival. Fishermen return with empty nets, afraid to enter traditional grounds for fear of harassment or worse. Incomes have plummeted, families face poverty, and entire villages suffer as the local economy collapses. The sea that once sustained them is now a source of ruin. The loss is cultural as well as economic. Centuries-old traditions and knowledge are vanishing as elders can no longer teach the young. A way of life is disappearing. These communities feel abandoned, their voices drowned out by talk of strategy and alliances. They want more than warships. They want safety and the right to fish. Their plight is a stark reminder of the human cost of this conflict. They are not just statistics. They are citizens whose rights and culture are at stake. The world must not ignore their suffering. Their struggle is a moral challenge to all involved. The Luzon Strait stands at a dangerous crossroads. Military buildup and aggressive tactics have created a relentless cycle of escalation. Deterrence is crucial, but every show of strength risks provoking the other side. The greatest danger is miscalculation. A single accident could ignite a conflict no one wants. In the age of instant news, nationalist pressures make de-escalation difficult. Communication between militaries is vital to prevent accidents and manage crises. But diplomacy is essential. Off-ramps must be created to resolve disputes without loss of face. International law must be the foundation for any solution. The fate of the Luzon Strait, and perhaps the world, depends on restraint. The stakes are too high for brinkmanship. Only dialogue, respect for law, and shared commitment can prevent catastrophe. The world is watching, hoping wisdom will prevail in these troubled waters.